Hello, you beautiful human. I am Xanthe, and today I'm going to be going over frequently asked questions to the video that I did a while ago, how I knew I was a lesbian, not bisexual. Now, before we begin, I have a lovely shirt on today. This is actually one of my beautiful human shirts that I have on my online store, so if you want to check that out, you can check it out down below in the description. I will leave you the link. So today I am supporting my bisexual friends. Yeah, let's go. So one of the most frequently asked questions is, what does it mean if I'm losing feelings for boys? So, for example, I'll read you a couple of them that I got, and then I'll go over what that means. So, Danny Chan, the crazy otaku, I hope I said that right. Thank you for your comment. They said, I stuck with bi for a while, but now I feel I'm slowly losing attraction to boys. I've only dated one person, which was female. I'm honestly not sure. And so, my answer to that is, sometimes when we're discovering ourselves and questioning, we automatically put boys in the equation because that's what society is telling us to do. And if you're slowly losing that attraction to boys and you feel that you're more attracted or drawn to females, there is a good chance that you were just feeling those feelings with boys because that's what society was telling you. Another thing is also, if you are bisexuals are not a 50-50 thing. So they could like girls 99% and boys 1%, and that is perfectly fine. So honestly, if you are learning about yourself and you're thinking about it and you feel most comfortable with lesbian or bi, go with whichever one feels the most comfortable to you, and that is the right one because you are allowed to just say what you identify as, and you're also allowed to change what you identify as long as you feel that is appropriate. So another question on the losing attraction to boys is from Miriam Humph. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, sorry about that, but thank you so much for commenting. They said, I used to be attracted to men, but I slowly lost it. I don't know if that's normal or valid. Yes, that is absolutely normal and valid. Feeling attractions to boys at the beginning of your discovery is totally normal. And then as you move on and you discover, oh, I'm more into girls, I feel more attracted to girls, I'm more connected with them, and you start to lose that feeling for boys, that is completely valid and normal. Something that I haven't talked about that often is sexual fluidity. So it's actually a thing where your sexuality and your identity changes as time goes on. Now, with this specific comment, I think they're more thinking, oh, I was bisexual, now I'm lesbian, and I've always been lesbian. But in some cases, you can actually change over time what your sexuality is. And I did a video, I did an interview about that, and you can see that over here. So there you go. If you are starting to lose feelings for boys and you think it's weird or strange, it might have been that you were actually never really attracted to boys. You just had it in your mind because that's what society told you to have. But it is also very possible that you are bisexual and you're just learning that you're more interested in girls than boys, but you still are interested in both. So honestly, just go with what works for you. That's my only advice that I can give you for that one. So another question I have is it okay to not have experience with a girl or a boy? I have a comment here from Righteous Monsi. But the problem is I have never had an official boyfriend or girlfriend, so I can't tell for sure. Well, that is a very good and valid question and statement. The fact is that you do not need to have that experience with girls or boys. I mean, straight people, they're like, oh, I like the opposite sex, that's it. They don't have to date anyone or anything to know that. They don't have to date the same sex to know that they're straight. But I know that being in the LGBTQIA2+ community is much more confusing, and society tells you it has to be, and that you have to go through this huge thing of experimenting and knowing what you want and trying out things. But really, you do not need to try out a girl or a boy or anyone. You can just know from yourself, from your observations of yourself. For instance, when I was younger, I realized that all these girls were talking about boys in these amazing ways, and they're so attracted to them, and they're so cute, and all that stuff. And I never could relate to them. I never felt that towards men or boys. And so that kind of helped me clue in that I was lesbian. And I have only had a girlfriend. She is still my girlfriend. And I have never dated a boy or kissed a boy or anything. But I still know that I am a lesbian. So it is absolutely valid that you have not had any experience, and you can absolutely know your identity without having the experience. I actually did a video on having experience or not, and you can see that over here. So there you go. That is my answer for that question. Now, this is more of a comment than a question, but this person said, their name is Bloop on YouTube. When you said that you thought you were asexual towards boys, I instantly related because I was thinking that too. And that is something that a lot of people have been able to relate to me on with that video. By the way, if you haven't seen this video yet, I will leave it in the description. You can go check it out. But what I said in the video was that something that really helped me clue in to know I'm a lesbian is that I felt no sexual attraction to men or boys whatsoever. So I thought, oh, I could be asexual with boys and sexual with women. But I realized I am not an asexual person, so that helped me realize, oh, I'm actually a lesbian. So that's just something that a lot of people are able to relate to me by. And so I just wanted to put that in there, see if you could also relate to this as well. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I would love to help you again. So the next one is about not feeling attracted to boys. And I got this comment from She Goblin, and I'm just going to read that comment here. Last month, I made out with a boy who was so respectful and kind and really good guy, but I didn't enjoy any of it. It didn't feel right or natural. When I was little, I would fantasize about kissing girls, LMAO. Now I know that that was for a reason. I noticed that I didn't look at boys as much as I looked at girls. And this is not so much a question, it's more of a validation. I'm very thankful that this person commented. Thank you. So I just wanted to bring this up. So yes, not feeling attractions to boys and fantasizing about kissing a girl when you're younger. I had many of those dreams or many of those fantasies of being intimate and close with a female, and I had never had those fantasies or dreams with boys. And so it really helped me to discover, hey, I'm seeing a pattern here, not with girls, yes with not with boys, yes with girls. And so I realized, oh, that means something. And I'm really glad that this person commented that, because it is a very, very good point to bring out. That even when she was kissing this boy, it didn't feel right, even though he was super respectful and kind overall, right? And so it's just a very good thing to think about. Even though that person is super sweet and super kind, if it doesn't feel right, it isn't right, and you should be able to feel comfortable with yourself. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, and hopefully that helps you a little bit. Okay, so the next one is about having attraction to fictional men. So I have a couple comments here. So from Alethea, I believe, said, I'm lesbian, but I do have crushes on some fictional men, which is perfectly valid. You can still be a lesbian and be attracted to fictional men. The thing about fictional men or fictional characters is that they bring you into a different world. So let's say it was like a cartoon, right, or an anime. A lot of people have commented that they find themselves being attracted to male anime characters, even though they do identify as lesbian. And I have found some fictional characters in movies attractive who are men, and the difference between the fictional character and a real person is that the fictional character is a what if or an imaginary, or it can feel real, but it doesn't have to be real. Like, you can imagine it. I don't know how to word this, but it's different because it cuts out the part of being real and having it to happen, like having to be in a relationship with a boy. You don't want that, but you can still enjoy and look at the fictional men and be like, hey, they are attractive, they are nice looking, they are really sweet, but you don't have to have anything physical with them, which I think is a really big thing. If you agree with me, like this video, and if you disagree with me, let me know why in the comments. I would love to hear some feedback, but that is just my take on it. There's also another comment that I would like to read, so just a moment. So this comment is from Rika Marie Thea Riozo. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but thank you so much for commenting. They said, I had a hardcore crush on a fictional character, a guy. Like, I wanted to do things like kiss a guy. Now I'm a bit of a bi-curious type because I thought if you find the same sex attractive, it automatically means you're bisexual. Can y'all help me find out? So, this is an interesting one because they're saying that they thought that if they found the same sex attractive, that meant that they're bisexual. Bisexual means that you are attracted to both females and males. Not all genders, because there are more. Pansexual is an example of that. But bisexual just means you're attracted to females and males. Now, if you're only attracted to the same sex person, then you are gay or lesbian. But obviously not everyone can fit into those types, so you can obviously identify however you feel most comfortable. But this, to me, sounds like in the world, you think about things that people put into your head. So, for example, with me, I thought I had to be straight because that's what society was telling me. And then when I started feeling attractions to girls, I was like, okay, I have to be bisexual though, because I have to leave some room for boys. But I later realized, no, I don't need any room for boys. I can just like girls, and that is okay. So I think that Rika is mostly confused with what they're identifying as. So if you're watching this, I just want you to know that you are valid, your sexuality is valid, your attractions are valid, and if you are finding yourself only or mostly attracted to females, and the males that you're attracted to are mostly fictional characters, you might be a lesbian. But if you do want to do things like kiss a guy or be more physical with him, you definitely could also be bisexual. So just think about that, go and explore and think about it more, and just, yeah, go with your gut. And you are obviously allowed to change how you identify as well, even though that's a big no-no in a lot of people's books. I believe that it doesn't really matter how you identify as long as you are happy and healthy and that you can bring yourself across to people. It is very helpful to have a label, but even if you could just explain yourself to people, that will help you find people in the community or even a partner if you wish. And so just go with what feels good for you, and if that changes in the future, perfectly fine. Just change how you identify. Now, this one makes me a little bit sad because it's about being too young to know. So, this is from Anna Sophia 4, which I have gotten questions from before. Thank you so much for commenting. So she said, but sometimes I have insecurities because in the past I had 2 boyfriends and I still have never had a girlfriend. Besides, I'm too young. I'm almost 15 years, so could you give me any advice or recommendations? Well, first of all, you're not too young. I know that a lot of people say that, like, oh, you can't come out until you're like 20 or you're 18 or all that stuff. But honestly, if you know how to identify as and you know yourself, come out whenever is good for you. Anytime in your life, you can know. And it can change. Like I said before, it can change as long as it feels comfortable and right for you. Because with straight people, people never ask them, hey, are you sure you're straight? Like, you're only 18 or you're only 16, you're only 10. Like, how could you possibly know? Well, they just do. And that's the same with people in the community. It's maybe not as simple as just knowing, but we do know deep in our hearts who we are. So as long as you are comfortable and happy with what you identify as now, that is all that matters. So I hope that helped Anna Sophia 4. And again, if you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below. So the next one is about not finding the right boy. So this is from Jeb Lama or Yeb Lama. And they say, I just keep wondering if I just haven't found the right boy because all the men just shudders in the like asterisks, like shudders. Ugh. So if you feel that you strongly dislike the thought of being with a guy or having a relationship with a guy or just guys, you very well could be a lesbian. Because even if you haven't found the right boy, you would still have attractions to boys, and you would still find yourself thinking about boys and fantasizing about boys. But if you don't, and you don't feel that connection at all, and it's only with girls, you can definitely be a lesbian. And just know that even though you haven't found the right boy, it doesn't mean that there has to be a boy. It can be a girl. So I know that's what a lot of straight people tell us, is that, oh, you haven't found the right boy yet, or the right girl yet, or the right person yet, depending on how you identify as. And so it can be very, very hard to accept the fact that you can actually just be yourself. You can actually just be gay. You can actually just be a lesbian. You can just be bisexual or pansexual or asexual or all this different stuff. You can just be who you are. You don't have to have a straight person validate who you are. So just know that you have a whole loving community to support you, and whatever you identify as, whoever you are, we accept you and we love you, and I hope that helps. So this is about the fear of saying your sexuality. So this is from AudiCat, and they said, hi, so I think I'm lesbian, but I'm worried that if I turn out to be bi, people I told would be like, so you lied about your sexuality? I had that exact fear. I was terrified that if I came out as lesbian and for some random reason I somehow liked a boy, that everyone would turn on me and be like, oh, you were wrong, oh, you lied, oh, this, oh, that, because I actually came out as bisexual first. So the fact is that if you are feeling that you are definitely a lesbian, you are most likely not going to be with a guy in the future. So that can kind of just take some weight off your shoulders. You don't really have to worry about liking a guy in the future if you really, really, truly feel that you are a lesbian, because that means that you don't have any attraction to men or boys or guys. But if you do for some reason in the future like a guy and get in a relationship with him, that is perfectly okay. Honestly, these labels are just here to help us to find other people like us and to help other people understand who we are. Life is life, and throughout life you are going to learn, you are going to fail, you are going to figure yourself out, and it's okay if your identity changes throughout life. Like I said, there's sexual fluidity and everything like that, but at the same time there's also just discovering yourself. So I was bisexual for, let's say, 2 years. And then I realized that that fear that I have about people being like, oh, you're lying, oh this, oh that, is not really that big of a deal, because I knew that I would not like a guy. I knew that that fear or that thing that could happen wouldn't happen to me. Now, obviously, not everyone's me, and we have different people, but just know that if you do change in the future, and if you do change your identity and your sexuality, that's okay. You're allowed to. You are allowed to. And again, you have this beautiful community here to support you and love you and accept you. I hope that helps. Alright, so that is it for the frequently asked questions. Now it's just on to general advice. The first bit of advice that I have for you is to imagine yourself, if you think that in the future you want a partner, right? So imagine yourself in a house with your family. Maybe you have some kids, you don't have to. Maybe you have like a dog or something, or a turtle. And you're with your partner, you're having a cup of tea, you're just sitting on the couch, and you're just there, and you're comfortable, and you're in love, and you're just, it's a full of love, and it's a family feeling, and it's beautiful. Who's the person sitting with you? Is the first reaction a girl? Or is the first reaction a boy? Or is it unknown? Just think about that, and think about what that could mean. Some other advice that I have is, you are the only one who knows you. You are the only one who can say whether or not you are a lesbian or bisexual. And that is your job. You know you. And it doesn't have to be stressful. It can be. But just know that whatever you identify as is right, because you identify as it. You do. Not anybody else. It isn't anybody else's business. It's yours. And you are the only one who knows you. So just remember that. Another thing is that identities and sexualities are being come up with every day. So if bisexual or lesbian don't work for you and don't fit you and they just don't feel comfortable, maybe look into some other words like queer or gay. And if those don't fit, like you can just explain yourself to people instead of saying, oh, I'm a lesbian. You could be like, oh, I prefer to have females in my life than males, or whatever it is. And you can also mix up some identities. So maybe you are a lesbian, but you're asexual, but then you're also demi-romantic. So you can be all those different things. You can be non-binary, you can be trans, and all this stuff, and you can put it all together, and as long as it feels comfortable to you, it's right. So just remember that. And the last thing I want to say is that remember that you are valid. Your feelings are valid, your love is valid, you are valid. And you are beautiful. You are a beautiful human. So, I hope this video helped. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment them down below. Again, if you haven't seen this video that I'm talking about yet, I will leave it here and in the description down below for you, so you can click on there to watch that video. And if you are interested in some of this beautiful human merch, you can check that out in the description down below as well. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you think it will help someone else, share this video and subscribe for more LGBTQIA2+ videos and content. And if you have any suggestions that you want to see next, please feel free to comment them down below. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I will see you next time here in the video that I actually am answering whether or not I knew I was a lesbian or a bisexual. So go check it out.